So I guess I'm just recording this video. I've been wanting to do this for a while. One thing I know about myself is that if I'm going to get started with something, I kind of have to force myself to get started. And that's what this video is. I don't expect this video to get a lot of views or anything of that sort. If you're watching it, cool. I hope you subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to tell you what the channel is going to be all about in just a moment. But this video is more for me. Got to get the ball rolling. I'm an author of science fiction, specifically military science fiction and space opera. You can probably tell from my backdrop, maybe, I don't know. I made this channel because I want to talk about a new series that I'm writing, and I want to take kind of a different angle at it. I don't just want to sit here and spout off like random facts about my book. And I don't want this to become a channel where I'm telling you how to write a book. I'm not here to talk to authors. Heck, if you're not even a reader, whatever. I'm here to talk to people about the cool ideas that are in my head in a way that is entertaining and engaging to them, honestly provides some amount of value. Stories have a purpose. We don't just randomly tell stories. It's something we've been doing for a long time, and there's a reason why we do it. Back in our hunter-gatherer days, when life was a little bit more simple, a member of the tribe might have returned from a hunt and told us a story about this wild beast they encountered and how they survived it. Now, at that point in human history, storytelling was already well established. We had myths and legends and folk religions at that point, so it's not like storytelling started this way. This is just an example I like to give, which is that if you were there, you were part of the tribe and you heard this story, a story had meaning to you. It helped you in some way. You gained something just from hearing that story, some bit of knowledge. Maybe you would be on the hunt the next day, the next week, who knows, maybe years later, and you encounter the same beast that was in that story. And because you heard that story, you have a better chance at survival. At the end of the day, that is the reason we tell stories. We are taking our experience and we are distilling it. Sometimes we're even fictionalizing it, but we're distilling it down into a format that allows us to share it. The definition of a meme is not actually a funny picture with words on it, no matter what the internet wants to tell you. The definition of a meme is an idea that gets passed down, similarly to how genes are passed down. If you weren't paying attention in biology class, basically through reproduction, your parents pass down specific gene markers onto you that give you the traits that you have, and if they make survival better for you, given your environment and circumstances, then you're more likely to pass those down because you're more likely to successfully reproduce yourself. This is the nature half of the nature and nurture equation. But nurture also has its own form of genes. We call them memes, and we've bastardized that term. But basically, a meme is an idea that gets passed down, and those who possess that idea have a better chance at survival. And I suppose it's not just possessing the idea, it's actually executing on the idea. But how do you pass down those ideas? How do you transmit them? What is the reproductive mechanism for memes? It's not 4chan, definitely not anymore, or Reddit, or any other online forum or social media platform. It's storytelling. Storytelling is how we share those ideas. That's why we enjoy it. Both parts of it, actually. Consuming storytelling and creating stories, telling stories. We enjoy both of those things. I especially enjoy the storytelling side of that equation, but I like a good story myself when I'm in the mood to read. But you can also consume stories in other ways. And you know a good story when you're in one. And it really does feel like you're in a story when it's a good one. It sucks you in. You feel like you're in that universe. The characters feel real to you. It's not something that somebody made up and put a whole bunch of words on a piece of paper, and right? You're not just looking at thin slices of dead trees with ink on them. You are transported somewhere else. The word creativity at its core means to create. And as a storyteller, you are engaged in an act of creation, not all that different than passing down genes. This is something I've learned over the years. I've been writing since I was 15 years old. I am a lot older than that now, so we're not going to go into it. But I've been writing for a while, and I didn't know that at first. My first stories were maybe kind of hollow, kind of pantomime, a little predictable in some respects, but also kind of all over the place in others. And I absolutely have room to grow as a writer and as an author. I'm not trying to pretend like I've reached the summit or anything to that effect. But in this series that I'm going to be talking to you about on this channel, I've tapped into something that I haven't tapped into before. I don't know that there are very many moments where I've written something that has brought me to tears. I can't say that that has happened all that much. There are a few of those moments, but as I have matured as a writer and just matured in general, those moments have become more and more, and I realize why that is. That's because I am better able to transfer the ideas that I have in my mind onto the page, but in a way that is compelling, at least to me. Who knows? You might listen to or read this story and think it's silly. It might not be your thing, absolutely, totally get that. But at least for me, the core essence of the story, the genesis of the story is compelling on a personal level. And so for that reason, I think it needs to be shared. There are aspects of my life experience that are in there. To be clear, it's a sci-fi novel. I haven't gone to space or anything like that. But for the characters, right? For the characters, yeah, there's some of my life experience in there. So real quick, I want to tell you what this story is all about. For those of you who are happening to see this video whenever it goes up, and for those of you who maybe come back and maybe watch this a while later, because hopefully I've posted more videos to the channel since this one. The series is titled Jotnar. That's also the name of this channel. Don't let the J fool you. It's a Norse word to typically giants. If you're familiar with Norse mythology, you don't have to be, though, in order to read this book. I promised I wasn't going to spout random facts about my book. I did promise that, didn't I? I like to tell people that Jotnar is a mix of a few different things. It's kind of like Halo meets Aliens meets The Walking Dead, but minus all the drama. Halo is probably one of the most compelling sci-fi intellectual properties of my lifetime. It's definitely fallen off in recent years. I don't think anybody would argue otherwise, but as a millennial, I can tell you it captured a lot of us. I can remember anticipating the release of Halo 2, playing that game with friends. The first time you experience some of those levels, particularly in Combat Evolved, the first time you encounter the Flood, reveal that Guilty Spark is tricking you. Those are great storytelling moments. Especially the first 3 games in the Halo series were great storytelling overall. Aliens was another franchise that captivated me as a kid. Yeah, I watched that movie as a kid, not Alien, actually. Aliens was my first introduction to the whole thing. I didn't see Alien until I was a little bit older, but I remember being 10, 11, 12 when I saw Aliens, and that's really just an action movie with some horror elements in it, but I remember being fascinated by the xenomorphs and what they could do, and had acid for blood. It was just cool, man. I mean, those were the days, dude. Even now, going back and watching that movie, it still holds up, and there's a very strong emotional undercurrent with the relationship between Ripley and Newt, that mother-daughter relationship. Something that I understand now much better as a parent than I did back then, but it's still a very compelling element of that story. And what can I say about The Walking Dead? It had a few good seasons there. The thing about The Walking Dead that I really enjoyed was the post-apocalyptic setting. But there were some things about it that always kind of just didn't sit right with me. There are no zombies in Jotnar, so I want to get that out of the way first. It's like an alien invasion apocalypse, not a zombie apocalypse, but it is definitely post-apocalyptic. And so the world has kind of gone wild. Thing that always got me, though, about The Walking Dead, I think it's the beginning of season 2. They're supposed to be going off in some direction, and then the little girl gets lost and they spend the entire season trying to find her. And by the end of that season, they don't get back on that road and continue down the path that they were originally on. They just abandon it for some reason. It's kind of funny to me. That always just stuck in my brain. Why didn't they, solve that plot thread? Maybe they did and I just didn't pay attention, but it was kind of odd to me. But anyway, if you can imagine here, we've got super soldiers, right? We've got xenomorphs or aliens, and we've got kind of a post-invasion apocalyptic setting. So in Jotnar, humanity's homeworld of Sauron is invaded by a race of aliens called the Grakhon. The Grakhon by themselves are big and scary. They're one-eyed cyclops demons from the depths of deep space, and they are not particularly fond of humans. But it was not simply enough for them to invade and kill a good portion of the populace. No, they had to go a step further. You see, the Grakhon are masters of biotech nightmares, integrating technology and living things together in horrors that you can only imagine if you want to. Basically, a cadre of survivors are taken to be transformed, transmuted, metamorphosed, if you will, into the Chosen. In Aliens, a face-hugging, spider-like creature wraps its tail around your neck and impregnates you. An alien grows inside your belly until it ultimately bursts out of your chest and kills you. You don't live to see the horror that is wrought. After that, you die. It's over for you. But in Jotnar, it's not the same. You do get infected by parasites that crawl all over your skin, covered in a thick layer of chitin. You are implanted with various technologies to augment your normal human abilities, to make you subservient to your alien overlords, and you survive. Your consciousness fully intact, your will bent to the whims of your new masters. And your first task is to hunt down those that remain, kill them, gather them, and put them to use. You've got to eat after all, and nobody's growing any food anymore. As you can imagine, this is a living nightmare, both for those who have been chosen and those who are surviving. But humanity is not without hope. The Space Corps has managed, off-planet, to gather some survivors from a few other worlds to come up with a plan. What can be done to stop the Grakhon? Can anything be done at all? An enigmatic and secretive special agent seems very confident that he has the solution. You see, some time ago, some specialized armor was made. Super soldier armor, except it didn't work particularly well. Humans just weren't innately strong enough to use it to its full capacity. Now, genetically modified humans definitely could use it, though. Problem is, after the end of the world, it's kind of hard to genetically modify humans. You don't have the resources to do that, or the money. But what if you didn't have to? What if the Grakhon already did it for you? What if the Chosen, those who were abducted and turned into monsters to hunt those who had survived, what if they were the solution to the problem? So the mission becomes clear. You must fight fire with fire. Master Sergeant Alex Kane was a Marine's Marine up until the end. He had a spotless military record, but when the Grakhon invaded his homeworld of Sauron, he was away. You see, he was a member of the Space Corps, and being part of the Space Corps, you don't spend a lot of your time planetside. No, he was stationed on a ship in another system several light years away from his homeworld, where his father, his wife, and kids were all currently living. So when the news came that Sauron was in fact being invaded, this was the end. Overwhelming forces. There was the will to fight back, but no means to achieve victory. He had to do something. So Alex did what any father would do. He snuck in to the docking bay, grabbed a shuttle, flew it out into space, and initiated the jump drive to take himself home. Now, Alex was no pilot, but he knew enough to land that shuttle and managed to do it in the middle of the invasion. no less. The Grakhon were bombarding Sauron from the skies. An all-out war happening as he navigated his way to the surface. Thankfully, he paid attention in exogeography in high school well enough that he knew how to locate his home continent, the region where his home was, and ultimately landed there at his father's farmhouse, where he and his wife and kids also lived. And he lands that shuttle in the front yard of the farmhouse, prepared to run inside, scoop up his wife and kids and his dad, and get them safe, get them off planet. Not everybody who lives on Sauron is well off enough to have a shuttle like that can jump at faster than light speeds, get you off planet like that. And so this was their only opportunity to survive. But when he walks up to the front porch, he finds his dad sitting on the brick stairs, but only his dad. And when he asks him where his wife is, where his kids are, they're not home. If you're interested in reading more, you can find a link in the description to my Patreon. It is free. You have the option to support me there if you want to, but you can read Jotnar for free right now. Just head on over there. It is the top post on Patreon. In fact, you can find that link on my Patreon without even following me if you don't want to. Also, subscribe to the channel while you're here. I'm going to be releasing more videos talking about these themes, these ideas. We're going to have some fun with it too, so don't worry. It's not all going to be boring like this video. But I hope you come along for the ride. I'm continuing to write this series as we speak, with the next book, as I record this video, nearing completion, and I'm releasing chapters as I write them on Patreon. For those who are members there, again, free members, you have the option to support me, and I may introduce some paid tiers in the future, but I will always make new content available there for those who are following me. I want to thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, share it with somebody who might also be interested. Leave it a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.